lock her up. And you know why? And you know why? You know why we're saying that? We're saying that because if I, a guy who knows this business, if I did a tenth of what she did, I would be in jail today.
Well, today, Mike Flynn, he's not in jail, but he did go in and look at his serious criminal exposure in court. He pled guilty to a felony, and he signed a document that suggests there are more. That's what we know right now. Now, Flynn has always known that, even if that is the news breaking tonight. Because all of this, when you step back and realize what a proceeding like this is, it's information about things Mike Flynn did. It's information he knows. So, leading up to today, he was in the position, if he wanted to avoid jail, to pick between two doors. One, the door where President Trump would save him, either pardoning him soon or blocking an investigation to begin with. And that's the backdrop for Jim Comey's account of Trump's interest in Flynn.
This is the president speaking. I hope you can see your way clear to letting this go, to letting Flynn go. He is a good guy. I hope you can let this go. Now, those are his exact words. Is that correct?
Correct. And the reason I keep saying his words is I took it as a direction.
Right.
I mean, this is the President of the United States with me alone saying, I hope this. I took it as this is what he wants me to do. Now, I didn't obey that, but that's the way I took it. I remember saying, I agree he's a good guy, as a way of saying I'm not agreeing with what you just asked me to do.
That would have been door number one, which Jim Comey at least didn't agree to let Flynn go. Then there would be door number two, where we are today, cooperating. That is what Flynn's doing. And now he's required to turn over all evidence of crimes relevant to the case and to testify fully, completely, and truthfully. But testify about what and about who? For more on that, I bring in a criminal defense attorney, Brian Weiss, and back with me, former federal prosecutor Joyce Vance. Brian, what could Bob Mueller get from Flynn?
Well, that's the $64,000 question, Ari. What he can get for the first time, is all of your guests have succinctly said, is a view inside the Oval Office, a view on board Air Force One. Look, Bob Mueller made his bones prosecuting mob cases when the president was seducing Marla Maples. He recognizes that you build a case like this from the ground up, not from the top down. What he can get from Mike Flynn from the first time, he's got one of the capos. We're not talking about a chucklehead like George Papadopoulos. We're talking about somebody who was a key player, a non-family member. And remember, all of the talk about the C-word collusion, the important C-word that should be on the minds of people in the White House today, Ari, is conspiracy. What it is that Mike Flynn can tell them about the other players in this ongoing legal drama about Russia.
And Brian, just generally, if you do flip, does it work if you tell on people who work for you, or you tell on your assistant, or who do you have to tell on?
Generally, the rule of thumb from anybody who's ever seen the Godfather trilogy is that you have to trade up. I mean, you know, Frankie Five Angels didn't give them anybody below him. He gave them Michael. So in this situation, it's critical for Mike Flynn to be able to advance the story beyond that which Bob Mueller already knows. And that ought to be the scary part for everybody who works in the White House. They don't know what Bob Mueller knows.
And to that point, Joyce, the theory of the case is either that Mike Flynn outsmarted Bob Mueller and got a sweet deal and isn't giving much up, or that Bob Mueller outsmarted Mike Flynn and is getting a lot in this deal. What's your bet?
You know, plea agreements are a lot like business deals. Depending on how much you value something, you may be willing to pay a bigger price for it. And to prosecutors, paying a big price means offering someone fewer charges and a lighter sentence. If you look at this plea agreement that way, Bob Mueller obviously thinks that Mike Flynn brings a lot of value to his case. And so I'd say that the prosecution here is getting a good deal. They're getting a good bargain. They obviously believe that this is yet another rung on the ladder moving up to whatever their ultimate goal might be.
And then also, Brian, take a look at what Senator Dianne Feinstein was saying today, and she's very careful on these issues. But she said this shows a Trump associate negotiating with Russians against U.S. policy before Trump was in office and after announcement that Russia has interfered, a stunning revelation. It could be a violation of the Logan Act. I want folks to understand that is a very serious law, but one that's rarely prosecuted. The Logan Act is basically traditional rule that private citizens can't just go and negotiate with foreign powers to undermine what the U.S. is up to. I think most citizens wouldn't think of doing that in the first place. Brian, if you're in there defending a client and they're got exposure for something that's that extreme but also that rarely prosecuted, what does that mean?
Well, I think what it means is that you've got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And Robert Kellner, Mike Flynn's lawyer, in my estimation, did an extraordinary job. I think that this was a trade that helped both ball clubs because there was somebody, Ari, who didn't get indicted. There was somebody who didn't appear in federal court,
right,
and that's Mike Jr. I really think that that was part and parcel of Mike Flynn's decision to take door number 2.
Well, and you put it well, and it's easy to forget. It may be very good lawyering on the Flynn side that he got to this place. And if it is good lawyering, that means he could have been in a much worse place, with much more criminal exposure. That's one of the other headlines here embedded in this very big day. Brian Weiss and Joyce Vance, thank you so much.